Hello everybody. I'm going to give everyone a second to get logged on and get this moved over to our creative group. Thanks for spending your day here if you're joining. Let's see, share. Hey Cheryl. Okay, so I'm going to share this into where it needs to go. Post. Hi Brenda. Hey Donna, good morning from down under. I have to move my laptop. Hi Adrienne. Oh, it is so good to see everybody hopping on. Okay. Well, I have a whole bunch of stuff that I am working on today. Hello, Mary. And I have a big event that I am finally ready to announce. I just finished the last piece. Do you want a sneak peek? So you guys know how much I love retreats. Retreats are a giant part of my business, and they are kind of at the heart of what I do. My best friend and I, we had a plan on how we wanted to run our retreats, and unfortunately, she passed away right before our first one. And so it has become my legacy with her. And so I put a lot of, I'm going to turn the heat off because it's loud in my ear. So I put a lot of thought behind this one that's coming out today, and it is called Crafting is Essential. So if you think of things that you find to be essential when it comes to your stamping, that's what you're probably going to find in this retreat. I have a goodie bag exclusive to the event. You guys want to take a peek? I'll give you one sneak peek, okay? Well, I'll give you a peek of the bag. Oh my gosh. I have other sneak peeks today, but the bag is amazing. It's a cooler and a lunch tote. And it opens and it has a little... So you only get the bag as part of the retreat. Isn't that fun? And it would be perfect once we can do this crafting thing together again. It would be perfect to take to a lunch, to a one-day retreat, because it would keep everything cold. And then on the inside, it's got a pocket for your phone. So it'll keep your phone dry and it will keep your stuff cold, which I think is amazing. And of course, the coolest logo ever, Stamp Your Heart Out. So I know that's backwards, but oh my gosh, I'm more than ecstatic. So when you think of all the things that are essential in your business, or I mean, in your business, in your craft rooms, in your stamp room specifically, that's what this retreat is going to be all about. So essential things. So I'm very excited. If you're a brand new stamper, this is the place. It's the one thing that you're going to be like, wow, when you get your box. And the same thing goes to all of our veteran stampers. I just have to tell you, this is going to be the best one yet. So I'm very excited. So how about if we start with some butterflies? I want to show you the butterflies I've been working on. And then I want to show you my mess from designing today. And then I want to show you a sneak peek at the goodie bag and a sneak peek at the Stamp-A-Stack optional class. There's an additional optional class that I don't have here. It's a 12 by 12 sampler with the butterflies that my friend Christine Crutcher has done. She is an incredibly talented demonstrator, and she is joining forces with me on this one. So you have the option to add on her class. In addition, the option to add on a 12 card Stamp-A-Stack. So it's so fun. And then when I'm done showing, like with the show and tell thing, I had a couple of friends that purchased watercolor pencils, and they were asking the uses for them and how I use them. So I just thought that we might play at the end and we could do an on the fly and you can tell me what to do. Okay, so there's all of that. So let's flip the camera because that's the easiest way to start. And forgive me, I know my hand isn't all that pretty, but it's better than getting dizzy. Okay, and then I'm going to move the table just a little bit so you can see my cards. So these are some butterfly cards I made. I posted this one. I made a whole bunch for welcomes for my team. And then when I ran out of new people to welcome, well, I made a few more because that's how I roll. And then congratulations for my team hasn't gone out yet, but I made some cards using the rainbow sparkle paper. And forgive me, I may not be able to see your comments right now because my table's a little full. Here's another one. I just put some designer paper back there. These strips of designer paper measure 2.5 by 1.25, and they're layered onto my card. And then it has, I don't know if you're catching that, but it has that paint background embossing folder. This one has the bricks, and that was a 1.5 inch strip and a 1/2 inch strip, and I just glued them down and trimmed. And then this one was another swap. Super cute, super simple, but if you like the butterflies, later on this month, I am going to do another new stamper class just for newbies with the butterflies. So that's coming. They're what we used for our team meeting. So today I was designing for that Stamp-A-Stack I was telling you about. And this is what I do to get ready. I start cutting pieces of what I want to use in the different colors that match my designer paper. And then I have all these pieces to play with, and that's how I start. So I don't know if that's helpful to you guys. But I'll give you a sneak peek at that Stamp-A-Stack. This is going to be an add-on for my retreat only. I can't even begin to tell you how beautiful these are. They're like so stunning in person. And they come with a full bolt of ribbon and a package of those stickers. And you'll notice the opal rounds. The opal rounds are going to end up being in their goodie bag, so they'll have them anyway. So pretty. So sparkly. Okay, so that's the sneak peek of the Stamp-A-Stack. So I can put all of that off the table, which is good. Because my goodness, I have more to show you. So then there's the actual retreat goodie bag. There's always an awesome goodie bag. It's at least $50 in product, and that's $50 in my cost. So you get at least $50 in product, but that doesn't even include tax and shipping. Wait till you see the list if you sign up. But this is one of the projects. And in case you're wondering what this looks like when you prep it, we put all the die cut pieces in a bag so that people wouldn't lose them. Isn't that amazing? So I'm already prepped for 24 on the bags. I still have to do the embossing. But it's so hard to see just how beautiful they are. But the sparkle kills me. And see the sparkle? Makes me happy. And the happy birthday. So pretty. So anyway, that's the goodie bag projects that go inside the goodie bag that has $50 plus in product. And I couldn't be more excited. So when I get off of this, my next order of business is to finish the marketing now that I finished that Stamp-A-Stack. You can see that I pulled my Butterfly Brilliance out of the case, and there's a bunch of pieces left. And I have seen other demonstrators save these pieces to make a fun background. So I'm just going to push these off to the side for now, but I'm going to kind of load them onto my case. I almost never use the stickers because I'm almost always crooked. So I make my images straight on the block. If you're ever at my house for a class, I will line the block up straight with the words so that you know what you're doing. But I've seen people use that as like animal print, so I'm going to hold on to that. And this is the piece of butterfly. So it's like one big thing, but it's so cool because the dies actually cut this out in one big thing. So I figure we'll peel the backing off of that. Jeez. Usually it comes off in one piece, but I'm excited, can I say. All right, so I'm gonna put that away for a minute. And I'm gonna bring in my watercolor pencils. And did I mention that the stud muffin just got home from doing an errand and he brought me a special treat? Thank you, honey, for the coffee. So I might take a sip of coffee because I haven't even had a sip yet. So this is watercolor paper, and it's called Fluid 100. We just started carrying this not too long ago, and it is wonderful. And if you notice, even this is made out of, it has watercolor properties, so you could probably use every shred of this paper on a project somewhere. I love that. So Fluid 100 has a higher level of cotton to it than a lot of watercolor papers, and I'm told it is dreamy to work with. My friend Diane taught me all about it. So these are the new water brushes, and I just put water into mine. I'll tell you, I don't leave the water in the brush. So when I'm done with my live, the first thing that I'll do is I'll go into the kitchen to my sink and I'll empty them and clean them because I don't want to grow anything funky inside the barrel. And I did use tap water, so there's nothing to prevent it from getting funky. Okay, let me move those cards. I'll bring in a paper cutter. So our watercolor paper is measuring, let's see, 5 inches wide, and it's 7 inches long. So I'm going to cut this at 3.5. Seven. You know what? I lied. I'm gonna cut it at 3.25, because 3.5 would be the halfway mark. And I want to have a smaller piece to layer on something. So let's start with that. So that's 4.75 by 3.5. Okay. And then this one is another, just a piece of vanilla, sorry, same thing, the watercolor paper. I have no words today. Whatever. You guys can correct me. I'm going to score this one at 3.5. So now I have kind of like a card base. Hopefully I did that right. Yep. So 3.5 by 5. So I've got a little note card. And now I have the piece that sides down to it. So 3.25 by 4.75. Okay. So let's start by saying true watercoloring is about a wash of color. And Stampin' Up! Has two different kinds of, or two different sets of colors. So this one has mostly brights. It has real red, calypso coral, pumpkin pie, daffodil, olive, espresso. There's black and there's even white. I like white for highlights. Bermuda Bay, Pacific Point. Oh, look, we have Night of Navy in this one. Cherry Cobbler. I really want a bright color here, so I'm going to start with Melon Mambo. And actually, before I even play with this piece that we're going to use on a card, I want to give you the lowdown about these pencils. So first of all, you can make a palette and use it to make more colors. Oh, that's super fine. Look at that one. Woo! And these brushes, I'm going to tell you, when you go to screw them on, it seems weird. You know how they're righty-tighty, lefty-loosey? These go a little bit backwards, so just be careful. And when you go to pull the top off, it seems backwards to me, but these are just a pull top. And I'm going to give that a little push to get some water down into my brush. There we go. Okay, so I've got a little bit of water in my brush. I should have probably grabbed some paper towels. And I'm gonna move this color a little bit. But what's cool about this is I can actually blend the colors. So I can make whatever color I want. So you see the purple showing up, because pink and blue make purple. And I'll go until it kind of fades out. And then again, And that's why I need a scratch paper. So hang on. I'll grab a paper towel here, just so I have something to kind of work off of. And I'll get the blue off on my paper towel, and now I'll go right into the yellow and bring it down into the pink. And what do you think we're gonna get in there but an orange? So we got like a little rainbow going on. So essentially this could be a first card in that, wow, like you really have to be careful with that brush. And when it dries, I can just stamp a sentiment here and have another card like that. Okay, hang on, I can't see your comments, so I need a second to bring yourselves up onto the table. All right, there we go. So, so now I'm gonna stick this off to the side for a minute, and maybe we'll find a sentiment in a minute for that. But, oh, my paper cutter's under my computer. Go figure. How do we sign up for the retreat? Mary, that's a good question. If you're on my email list, later today, I'm gonna finish this because it's 90% done, but I had to finish the Stamp-A-Stack so that I could offer it out. So I'm gonna cut this to 3.5 on one side to kind of cut off that extra. And then I'll go to 3.25 on that side. If you're not on my email list, Mary, just send me a private message and I will make sure that I get you on the list. Just make sure you leave me your email address so I can add you. Everybody's welcome. We have so much fun at them. I can't even. Oh, and the other thing I should probably do, I'm turning my whole paper. So easily distracted. Let's see. Okay, so we've got that, and this is a card waiting to go, right? Because we have this as a base, or we could just make another base since we made a base for the other one, right? So we remember that that was at 7, so we'll score this guy at 3.5. So it's kind of nice that you can use these to make card bases as well. And then the actual paper is the watercolor paper is your card base. If you prefer, you can always layer it on top. I think it would go better with vanilla than basic white. Oh, it is so pretty. Okay. So, you guys get the idea with the blending of the colors, right? You can essentially make any color you need or want, and they come in a bazillion colors. So let's go to, how about, I don't see, it's not popping out at me which ones. That's Gorgeous Grape. Maybe this one is navy. Native Navy. It looks a little bit like Pacific Point. It's so bright, but that's okay. So I want to bring in some navy and do this, essentially the same thing. This time, I'm going to make a square. Okay, and my brushes. I don't know what I did with the big one. There it is. Here's my big one. And I'm just hatching. I'm going in one direction to make like a washy kind of wet background, right? Delightful, isn't it? So let me clean my brush real quick. It cleans up real easy because it's all water. And then I'm going to kind of push down on one side to get that back in so I don't hurt any of those bristles. All right, and then earlier this week, I had this vision that I wanted to play with some designer paper. Let me see if I can find I am pretty sure it was this one. So this is my designer paper, and it has Native Navy in it. It's really pretty, isn't it? So what I did was I pulled out my dies for this guy, and I've been playing with the butterflies like a mad person. And I think I already showed you guys last week that this big one does this. Adrienne, I know that you're on my list, honey. We added you a while ago. So here is my butterflies, and they line up perfectly for die cutting. So you can get 6 butterflies out of one swipe on the Big Shop. I gotta tell you, these butterflies are gonna be in the new catalog, but the paper is not. So if you're gonna get the paper, make sure you get it before it goes out, which will be at the beginning of the next catalog, which starts in May. Demonstrators were able to pre-order this last month, and it is fantastic. But I thought, well, what happens when the paper goes out? And I started thinking about what I'd like to see on my butterflies, right? So I ran that through, and I also ran through some of these. I gotta show you these. They're so pretty. Ready? So this one just makes like a hatch mark on your white paper or on any color paper. Oh, look, I didn't even let some of the stuff out of the die yet. And then this one actually cuts out little bricks, and these cut out baby butterflies. And then this one cuts out like little dots. So if your butterfly's flapping away, there might be dots behind his bum. That's just my thought. Silly goose. So there's my butterflies, and I'm gonna bring in what I did with this because it was just easier to have them cut for you. Sorry, I'm reaching long here. Okay, so here's like all of the die cut pieces after they came out of my designer paper. So this designer paper is in the main catalog, and actually I know that it's gonna retire in a couple of weeks. Basically anything that has the 5 colors that are going out, the 2019 to 2021 colors, will be no longer in a couple of weeks. So if you're missing any of the refills on any of the in colors, you may want to take a look at your stash and make sure that you've protected your investment. We can talk more about that again if you have questions, or maybe what I'll do is over on the Creating with Selene Facebook group, I will post the actual graphic to show you what is going out with all the item numbers. Anyway, I wanted you to see how awesome these dies are. There's so many of them, and they're very useful. So now, by that time, our Night of Navy should have dried. It's definitely buried on the table somewhere. There we go. And I thought, well, instead of black, what about navy? So you could do a straight navy, or if you wanted to, you could have like a couple of different ones with the designer paper behind it. And maybe the smaller one for this because it's so little. But each one has a coordinating solid piece behind it. So that makes it pop a little more, doesn't it? And then the designer paper marries up to these outlined images. So that could be a second project, and that's our cardstock. So I'll finish these offline, and I will post pictures. I love the detail dies. Yeah, me too, Kathleen. You're right on. So the other thing that I should tell you is that I am trying to build my YouTube following, because I can go live on Facebook anytime, but I can't go live on YouTube. So if you haven't liked my page, it's just Selene Kempton. Please let me know, and I can send you the link. If you can like my YouTube channel, I'll be able to go live over there. I need 1,000 subscribers, and I only have about, I don't know, 700. So I would appreciate the help with that. Can you see this? Oh, so any idea, right? You can take it and go this way. You could extend that pencil. And I like the idea that you can make any color that you want. So you can, if you know your color wheel, and you know that, blue and pink make purple, you can make whatever color you want, although we do have a gorgeous grape. So if we don't have the color, you can certainly mix them together. All right. So next, what I had in mind was to take this up a notch. So we'll bring this in, Butterfly Brilliance, and I have my Stamparatus, and you can see there's a little guy in there. So sometimes if I am die cutting a whole bunch of them and I want my little guy to be in the right spot, I can pop one in that I've already stamped, and then if I have the stamp, it just stamps in the same place and it's perfect placement every time. So I use my Stamparatus that way quite a bit. But right now, I just want to use it because it's a giant block. I also have a giant block for this. And if you were going to use it on your giant block, here, let me grab one so I can show you. Here we go. If you were going to use it on a giant block, this is the biggest block we sell, by the way. It is the F block. Oops, sorry. Ding. Don't mind the camera. You would put your ink on, and then you would put your paper down, and then you would open your hand and smooth to make sure that you get a nice smooth surface. Now, this is watercolor paper, and it's not perfect when it comes to stamping, especially in black. Sometimes it doesn't stamp as nice. So what I would like to do is get an image that maybe we could cut out. And I'm not going to go right to the top. I think I'm going to try and bring it down just a little bit. And I'm going to put a magnet here and a magnet here. Can you see my duct tape? I put duct tape on this bad boy. And then oh, thank you, Donna. You're so nice. I love Donna. Donna and I have been friends for a very long time, and I can't wait to see her again on an incentive trip. Thanks for posting that link for everybody. Okay, so I just put this down where I know that it's going to hit my paper because I just put my magnets down, right? And then I need to bring in Stays On. So why would I use Stays On? I'm always using Memento. When I'm watercoloring, I don't want this guy to move. So I'm going to put a little ink on him. So the first thing you do when you open a Stays On is you breathe deep. Because it smells like almonds. It's so yummy. It's probably not good for you, but oh my gosh, it smells so good. It smells like almond cake. Makes me crave an almond cake. Okay. And then I'm going to hope that this kind of sunk in a little bit. Oh yeah, we're good. And then I am inking up backwards. Why would I do that? Well, you can see that the coverage isn't that great out of the gate. And that's because the stamp is so huge and the ink pad is so little. So you can flip it over to see where you're going, close the top. I'm going to give it a little pressure. And we'll take a look. Now this is watercolor paper, so it's bumpy. So see how it didn't come out perfect? Well, no big deal. It's in place. So I can ink up again where it doesn't look so hot and have another go and know that I have perfect placement. So here we go. Hopefully this time. So if you were doing this with the big block, you would be putting the paper on top and then smoothing with your hand. This gives you a lot more leverage. You can put a little more pressure on it. Oh, it's so pretty, isn't it? All right. So let's put that guy to the side. And I gotta tell you, I don't know why I don't use Stays On more often. It smells so good. I'm such a goof. All right. Too funny. So we have Night of Navy in our designs. We also, I don't know, what color do we want to use? let's talk about, I know it's not perfectly stamped, but it's okay. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to keep you all day. We can take tiny little sections at a time and treat it like stained glass. And you add a little pencil to the section that you want to color. It is so super satisfying. Okay, so that's a little bit right there. What other color do we want with that one? It was Night of Navy, but it looks awful bright. What's the name of that stamp machine? That is the Stamparatus, my friend. And Sandra, at the end of this video, I will do a supply list and I'll post it. It may take me like 10 or 15 minutes when the video is done because I never know quite what I'm going to add to the video as we go because we're on the fly. But I will have supply lists and item numbers at the top within about 15 minutes. So how about if we go with yellow, because I think that yellow and blue would be pretty together right there. And the artist made some shading on this guy, so I'm going to color it darker with my pencil on where the artist made the lines. And I'm really digging in with my pencil. And then I can come back in with my water. And I think I need more water because it doesn't feel wet enough. There we go. And just move the color. So that's another way to use it. And you can be as precise as you want, or you can make it splashy and fancy. Okay. What else do we have? I've used that and I think I'm ready for one. It's amazing. Sandra, you should talk to Chrissy and grab your kit and get it on your kit because it's a bigger ticket item. The Stampin' Up! Starter Kit is still the best deal in the book. It's got, you pick out $125 in product, and you only pay $99, and it's free shipping that one time. And then you get a discount on everything you buy moving forward. And I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so get the purple. Oh. So pretty, isn't it? I love it. I think the big thing with the starter kit and my team is just the camaraderie. Like, I think COVID's brought us closer together, even though we have so much fun together. And it's mainly online. Last month, out of 80 people, we had like 20 people on Zoom for a meeting. So fun. And we do mystery stamping and all sorts of fun. And actually this month's workshop that I'm doing online is last month's make and takes for the meeting. So it's using the butterflies again. Oh, look at how pretty this is. So I'm just using the Gorgeous Grape pencil and adding color. Notice that I didn't add the color all throughout. I added the color to the top and then pulled it down so it would be kind of washy. And you get that dark to light thing going on. Although there's like almost no color up here. So I think I want to shade that a little bit. But you can add as you go. It's very forgiving. What other color do we want with the purple dude? So we've got purple on the top. I'll stop there and I'll let you tell me what color we'll do on that guy. And do butterflies come in green? That's a funny question. How about, I don't know. We got a Bermuda Bay. Oh, I know, I miss everybody. But I'm already planning a live retreat in October. Okay, so that's a cool idea. So we got purple and we'll go with balmy blue. So I got you, Bonnie and Val. You both said blue. And you're right, look at how pretty that is. We do so much better when we're all together, don't we? Okay, so I'm gonna color in like where the artist left me lines, because there's all sorts of black in there. And I don't need to compete with the black. But because we used StazOn, the pencil will move, but this will not move with water. So it keeps you, you can watercolor over it and the black won't move. So if you're using Memento black, you have to be a lot careful because it's not intended for this kind of use. So this is why we have StazOn. So pretty. I think I want to like get some detail. Oh, that's purple. Jeez. Well, that'll be blue purple. Is that a color? Let's see. Why am I at work? Val, I don't know, my friend. So that you can fuel your stamping addiction. That would be my reason. Although I have to say, those packets and the kits, like, it takes me hours to put these together, like for retreat, but there is so much joy in making kits for me. I don't know why, but I get to do this for work, and it's like joyful for me to make kits for people. And I can't wait until I can have help again, because my daughter helps me for a couple hours on a Saturday morning, but she's not like a full-time employee or anything. I could use more than 4 hours of help a week. Poor kid, her arm's gonna fall off with all the die cut work. Okay, so that one's pretty. So there's no, you don't have to have a method when you're doing this, because you can even do this, right? And this, because we're gonna cut it out, and all of those lines, I want more water on that though. Oops. My daughter is just coming in from school, so if you hear them with the door. There we go. And I gave it a little squeeze to get that ink to move. So these, you can do this type of technique with pencils or with ink pads. The pencils are nice though, because you get like a ton of colors in one pack, and they're not overly expensive. So that pops just as much. And where's the dies? What did I do with those? See what happens? So when we go to cut these out, you're not going to see my big mess. So it doesn't have to be exact when you're doing it. Okay. Yes, this is Fluid 100 paper. And I was telling them, I think that this you could stamp on too. This is like the packaging, but this feels like watercolor paper to me. So just for giggles and so that we can finish, how about if we use that scribble method on some of the other ones? And, you know, we'll make a couple detailed ones, but how about like blue? So you really don't have to be talented artist or like even precise to get these to work for you. Which one's this? Ooh, cherry cobbler. We had that cherry cobbler in the spring paper, and I didn't think I was gonna like it, and then I ended up loving it. Okay, and then the same thing, I want the bigger brush though. So there are 3 size brushes. This one's the medium one, and it's easier for a scribble. And then I'll just let it dry and cut it out, and I can give the body a different color or a detail. But it doesn't have to be like, so if you were making a bunch of cards, you don't have to mess around with it. But if you like to color and you want to take your time, there's always that option. By the way, thanks, T&T Taylor for the suggestion on this week's live. And Pam Dickey also got the watercolor pencils this week. So hopefully this helps answer your questions about them. You can use them basically with anything you have. And I do like it on watercolor paper, or the shimmery white is also really fun to work with watercolor anything. Okay, I need my paper. Dig, dig, dig. And I want it more wet. Woo! All right, there's a river there. So that's the other thing you can do. If you make a mistake and you either put too much water or you want to take some color out, you can pick it up with the paper towel and it'll make it a little lighter. But now the color's in my paper towel and not all over my table. So that's another way to kind of fix it. All right. And then I'd like to make, is this the navy? The navy gets me every time. It looks so light. Here. It's definitely navy though. You can see it against the balmy blue. So everything has like a little dash of navy in it. So that big blob that I made. Hey Carol, good to see you, honey. I do. I have an online retreat coming up that I'm listing today, hopefully by the close of business. And it has 2 optional classes that I showed in the beginning. So just do the hashtag replay, and I showed some of it. But if you're on my email list, it's going to come out today. And then I have to talk to Maine about a potential date between now and October. So October, the first weekend in October is a sealed deal. We are, I told them to book it. So I definitely have that date, but I would like to get in another time before that because frankly, I need it. Crafting is essential. What can I say? And that's the name of the retreat this week that I'm posting. It's Crafting is Essential. All of the gifts are essential crafting things, in my opinion. So, all right. So we got all of that done. So we can cut these out now that they're watercolored and make a bazillion cards out of one coloring session. And they're so fun. What do you guys think? Do you have questions about the pencils at all? I think you guys that are on right now are pretty experienced. So I'm just gonna wait 1 second and make sure that you're good. And then we can do a quick flashback of some of what we're gonna put together. So like that, and I'll stamp a sentiment. And these guys we cut out with navy and some of the paper from the main catalog. And again, I don't have everything in an item number just yet, but I will in about 10 minutes. So I'll get that listed, and then I'm going to get to work on listing that retreat for you guys. So if you're not on my email list, just send me a private message and I'll get you on there. Make sure you include your email address so that I've got you. But isn't that pretty? Oh, gosh. So I love them. Had watercolored, so this is great. Yeah, it's a great technique. So if you don't have the pencils and you have an ink pad, what I like to do sometimes is I'll take an ink pad and squish it onto a plastic bag, and you can use those with the aqua painters as well. It works the same way, but I would recommend if you're doing watercoloring with water that you use StazOn for your black image so that your images won't move. Kind of fun, huh? All right, I think that's all the questions. Let me see. I'm just gonna flip it. We covered a lot. And I showed you guys all my stuff, so I hope that you loved it. The event bag, and I mean, there's still quite a few surprises that, you know, you'll only see when you do the event, but it'll be so worth it, I promise. So I love you guys, and I will see you soon. I didn't have a sip of this yet, so I can finally have a sip of my coffee. Make it a great day.